Al-Ma'ārij, and the verses that I've recited, gives us, and it's one of the places in the Quran where he gives us a glimpse on how the human mind is, how he created it, and how we can maintain it. Now, 99% of people who go to see a doctor will be told that they need to change their lifestyle. I'm sure some of you, if not all of you, have heard this at one point. You need to change your lifestyle. Well, why is that? Well, because the lifestyle that we live now, in the 21st century lifestyle, is destructive to our bodies, because it's mainly oriented around sedentary, consumptive materialism. And that destroys the body, and there's no question about that. All doctors across in the whole world will tell you this. But what we don't pay attention to is that is even more destructive to our minds. And these verses, inshallah, I'll talk about, give us a very good example of this. In Surah Al-Ma'ārij, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ خُلِقَ هَلُوعًا. Indeed, mankind, all mankind, have been created labile. What's labile? Labile is actually a term that we use in medicine, and we use it for patients who have psychiatric problems, who their mood and their affect fluctuates very frequently. For example, 1 minute they're laughing, after 2 minutes they're crying, and then they're sad, and then they're happy, and it is just, they're sick, and it's very difficult. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that all mankind is like that. Not just these whom, doctors are saying are like this. Even the doctors themselves are like this. Even the doctors, and everybody who's ever taught anybody, and the entirety of humanity is like this. And then he follows up with a verse right after that to sort of explain that. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ خُلِقَ هَلُوعًا إِذَا مَسَّهُ الشَّرُّ جَزُوعًا. If a perceived evil is to touch or come near this human being, and this is how the mind works. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explaining us. If this human mind perceives evil, it is in despair. Jazua, absolute agony and despair. And we are living right now in the perfect example for this. The lowest form of life, which is what the virus corona is defined in the animal kingdom as the lowest form of life. It's only made of proteins. It's not even there's no complexity in this. Has made the top of the animal kingdom, or the human being, in despair. The human mind, the most complex thing there is on this planet, in absolute despair and agony. And there isn't anybody in any country and all over the world that isn't affected by this small thing and is humbled by it. And this makes us extremely in complete despair. Like the Quran says, وَإِذَا مَسَّهُ الشَّرُّ جَزُوعًا, and the follow-up after that, وَإِذَا مَسَّهُ الْخَيْرُ مَنُوعًا. And if any kind of perceived or good comes to this human mind, it's stingy. It wants it for itself. It doesn't want anybody else to have it. We want the Pfizer vaccine and the Moderna vaccine. Let the Chinese have the AstraZeneca or whatever. Or let the other countries the non-Western countries have no vaccine. We'll use it all up. We don't care about anybody else. Right? This is what's happening in reality. And you can take almost any example. I'm just using this because everybody's familiar with it. And you will see that this is how the human mind works. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has explained to us that, and this is going to cause dysfunction in the world, which we can all witness right now, unless the remedy and the prevention, the treatment, and the remedy is the Islamic lifestyle, right? It's not just rituals. And this is the real problem in Muslims today, is we see Islam as rituals. Okay, I pray, I don't know what I'm saying, I don't feel anything, but I'm just doing it. I pay the 2.5%. I'll make it tax deductible or something. God help me, I'll pray Ramadan somehow, I'll flip my day nights and things like that, I'll somehow adjust to it. And then maybe inshallah we'll do Hajj. And that's Islam for, unfortunately, the majority of Muslims. But this is not what really Islam is. These rituals are important, yes, but the reason they're important is because they help us. They are like the cornerstones of the lifestyle, the Islamic lifestyle. So, okay, how do you live a healthy lifestyle? Just let's say for our bodies, right? Don't consume things that can harm us. Cigarettes, alcohol, drugs. These are all things that the Islam asks us to do. So this is in congruency with the Islamic lifestyle. And then, don't be sedentary, be active. This is also the Islamic lifestyle. Be proactive, be helpful. Don't just sit there, be receiving TV signals or YouTube signals or whatever electronics, right? This is unhealthy, and this is what a doctor will tell you, but before there were even doctors, 1450 years ago, Islam was telling us this is the lifestyle. Help others because you will feel gratification. Nobody can even explain that. How does that work? Come on, 21st century science. Where are all the neurologists and all the psychiatrists and all the scientists? Nobody knows anything about this. But Islam's telling us this is how you keep your mind healthy and your nafs. In the Quran, the mind is described as a nafs. And this is how you live a happy life, is by the Islamic lifestyle. And the first and the last thing within the set of verses within the Surah Al-Ma'ārij that I recited is salah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes it in two different ways. الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ دَائِمُونَ. That's the first thing. Those who are constant in their prayer. So it could mean the obvious meaning of that is you pray all the time. You pray constantly. You that's why there's 5 prayers a day, and it's not just jumble them all up and then pray them all 20 some rak'ahs before you go to bed. That doesn't work. It's spread out through the whole day, so that the whole day you have the same spirit and you maintain the Islamic lifestyle throughout the day. That's how the salah works. So it has to be constant. And you have to be, and actually the goal is that you be in the same spirit that you are during prayer all the time, in between prayers too. So, in prayer you wouldn't want to think about something negative, or you wouldn't want to think about how am I going to rip this guy off his money, or how am I going to fool these people into doing this, or con this person into that. That's the last thing you want to think about in salah. And therefore, that's the last thing you want to think about in between salahs. And that's how the lifestyle is established. الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ دَائِمُونَ والذين هم في أموالهم حق معلوم للسائل والمحروم والذين يصدقون بيوم الدين. This is a big one. Those who truly believe in the day of judgment. Yeah, sure. We all learned that when we were kids. And yeah, everybody say we believe in it. But do you really? Do you really act? Do we really behave as if we know that any moment I can die right now while I'm giving this speech? I can. It's very plausible. There's no science or arithmetic in the world that can tell me when I'm going to die. But it can happen at any moment. Do I really live my life like I know that? I know that. But do I really act like I know that? Do I really behave like I know that? Do I really, like the concept of a bachelor's party, for example, right? That's it. You're going to get married. Go all out before you do it. Well, we can die in any moment. Are we going all out before we die? Or are we just going to roll over and, be not so significant? These are things that we decide on. This is a decision we make every day. Am I waking up just to make money today and tomorrow? And do I plan my whole life and my career and I go to school and get in debt and travel the world all just to make money? Or do I wake up and I say, okay, I'm going to do what I'm sent here to do, which is to make this life as much as I can, as best as I can, better for others. It's good to make it good for yourself too, of course. It's not a completely, absolutely nothing for you, but if we're just, we think about it, look at how many of us, and I'm not speaking about anybody in particular, I can speak about myself. I came all the way here. I was living in the Middle East. And, I made a decision when I was like 17 or something, so I wasn't thinking about all this stuff. But I made a decision because I wanted to make money. And that's probably accurate for 99.9% of people who immigrate to this country. And therefore, how can you live the Islamic lifestyle if your lifestyle is just everything, my whole life, I will leave my family, I will leave my culture, I will leave everything behind me just to make money? Okay, make money is good. But is that it? Is that all you got to show for? Because in any moment we can just die and your money is absolutely worthless. You can't take it to the grave. It means nothing on the day of judgment. And then we realize that we had the whole thing, we were looking at it the wrong way. And during this search for money, this endless, materialism, the more the world has become materialistic, the more the world is becoming labile, where people are becoming more depressed and more anxious, and there's more suicide, and there's more homicide, and there's more stealth, and there's more chaos, and there's more everybody harming everybody. Because our mind is sick. We're not healthy. When 70% of the U.S. population is diagnosed with either anxiety, depression, or both, we are literally living in a sick society. There's actually, it's not a matter of figure of speech. This is diagnosed, let alone those who are not diagnosed. And this was before COVID, which only, made everything much worse. So our only recourse to live a better life, and I'm not even talking about the akhirah. Just now. You want to live a better life? Everybody does. then we need to make our minds healthy. And the way we make our minds healthy is living the Islamic way of life and the Islamic lifestyle. Alhamdulillah, everybody here showed up for Isha prayer in Jama'ah. That's definitely a positive sign, and I think you are at an advantage just by being here and just by continuing the salah constantly. I think we're out of time, right? Okay. قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه يا فوز المستغفرين. الحمد لله وصلاة الحمد لله رب العالمين. Make a little dua or بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم يا ربنا أنت الذي خلقتنا وأنت الذي خلقت عقولنا ونفوسنا. Allahumma, you have created our minds and our brains, and you have placed them where they are for us. And we are living in this life. Make our entire life dedicated to your service. Allahumma, clarify our vision so that we can plan ahead and reach the goal of living the Islamic way of life, and help others become guided to the Islamic way of life so that we can be at peace and help others reach peace. And inshallah we will have Jannah in this dunya before the Jannah of Akhirah. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.